Okay, welcome everybody to my session and welcome to this 365 Saturday online from Warsaw and multiple other locations, obviously, since it's online. I would like to start with you guys with a very little survey to just get a better understanding who's in my session here. So what describes your role best? Just take out your mobile phone, either scan this little QR code or go to www.menti.com and then provide this code, which you can see on the slide on the top, 2781886, just to get a good understanding who's here with us. Just something here. Now I'm getting quick. Yeah. Right. Now more folks are voting. That's great. And don't put your mobile phone too far away. We will need it later for another question. All right. Okay, now more people are coming into this call. That's great. We wait just a few more seconds and then we can start. So we see a few of them on the management already, so therefore you're totally right. For those guys who are yet an employee but want to become a team lead, this is of course also great for future improvements, but also maybe you can give your boss a hint. What may work also for your team, so would work for your boss and therefore for your entire team. So feel free to now collect all the information that I would like to share with you today. So great, and thanks a lot for voting so far. If you're still in the meeting, so in the voting, the survey, feel free to continue to give your vote, and then, as I said, later we will have another quick question. So, for now, I then would like to start now with you guys and talk about teams for leaders. And yeah, it's actually kind of a hard project for me because I was a leader in the past, so we're able to lead an EMEA-wide team even before Corona times. One of my team colleagues were with me in the same office. The rest were just abroad, so I gained a lot of experiences there, as well as I'm really grateful for my team who were able to share and exchange, not only with me, with all of them, how we can make the team work better. These kind of experiences, I would like to share with you today. And I would like to start with you with a little story, and I wish that you now think about this specific situation that happened. So think about, you worked on a project, a very big project, many people worked on this, and due to the nature, due to your skill set, you got the biggest part. So it's normal, so this is nothing wrong with that, but you worked very hard overnight and stuff like this, and ole, in the end, we won the project together. And now your manager comes to you and says, great job, we got the deal, thank you so much. But we should not stop now, we need to continue. We need to be even faster and better for the next project. Or in another perspective, your manager, your boss comes to you and say, great job, we got the deal, thank you so much. I know it wouldn't have been possible without you and even without your hard work after hours. If you have no important meetings on a Friday, please stay at home, make a day off, spend the time with your family and all good, okay? So which perspective feel you more comfortable with? Or you wish that you maybe want to be that kind of manager, of boss. And both situations happened to me. And I personally like the second version, to really appreciate what somebody else was doing and giving something back. And this is part of this entire session for today, of course. So before we now continue, of course, a big thank you and shout out to our sponsors. Even an online conference, this is needed to get a couple of paperwork done. So thank you for them, and especially to Bonaire. Please, if you haven't done so far, visit their virtual bar, their virtual booth, and have a little chat with them. They have great information for you, I'm sure. And then you can also take part of the raffle at the end of this day. Just a very seconds to my person here who's talking to you. I said already I was managing a team, but in general, I'm a digital transformer, speaker, blogger, and also sharing all my information on conferences, on my blog, and wherever you can meet me. So therefore, I was awarded for that also as a Microsoft MVP. And also this specific session is now part of a workshop that I'm offering for companies. I'm self-independent worker as well with my company SkillBridge. So feel free also to reach out to me if you need a more detailed workshop for this and other topics later on. I'm an outdoor freak also. Today even I was also running. So if some runners are among you guys, my heart is with you. During COVID, I also start to find some good things with cooking. So it was interesting what other talents I had. And I'm not sharing about cooking, but some Microsoft stuff on social platforms. Feel free to join me there as well, of course. What's ahead? So ahead is straight view. And we would like to have a very quick look back first, where we are coming from, and then of course we want to look ahead. So what are the current requirements from employees, current requirements to managers, to leaders in the current world, and then I will show you what kind of tools we have in the Office 365 stack. And then of course we take them into action. So we will talk about concrete use cases and scenarios you can apply right now or on Monday on, or share with your manager to shift the collaboration to the next level. So let's start. Let's make a very quick look ahead. How was management in the past? Was I would say quite easy. We had a core team, so very hierarchical, manager on the top, and then very easy team that he or she had to guide, had to lead, and that was pretty easy. So very easy to understand in this case. So why it was that easy? I would still call it easy because it comes actually from the 1970s. So we were straight in the Cold War. Everybody was frightening. What can happen tomorrow? So I fought from whatever to stay safe, to just survive, but also at work to make everything right. And at the same time, it was not only the time of fear, it was also the time of booming years. So when you worked hard, this overwork time, for example, usually it was appreciated, so what was promoted, so you could really drive a clear career path. And this is important to know, a clear career path, because it was everything very structured, everything was very hierarchical. So therefore, when you do a good job, you get the job of your manager, and then the next manager, and so on and so forth. So it was very clear, was structured, and everybody was aware what to do, what is expected from me. So therefore, it was kind of easy to lead these people, to set clear expectations, and then they just follow, I would say. And this was driven by the shareholder supremacy. So this means the more money the company makes, the more money you get as my employee, and quite easy, that's right. So to drive this even more, we know all about scorecards. So when you reach your targets, then you got promoted, you got more money or whatever. And it started in the 90s also to have balanced scorecards. So we don't look only at the numbers for the revenue, but maybe also what are our partners doing? What is HR doing? What are the numbers of my employees? Are we getting more employees or less and something like this? But all very number driven. And when you just look at the numbers and how the companies perform, then you usually don't spend time on your players, on your team. This was normal at the shareholder supremacy. But to give you a metaphor on this is like in a soccer team when the trainer, when the coach is only focusing on the fans in the stadium and try to make them happy anyhow, but not looking what are the players doing, what do they need to bring the best performance. Of course, it all influence each other, but where do you start? Where do you put your focus on it? And in this scenario, of course, it makes sense to focus on the players. And when the players feel great, they can bring you the best performance. And then, of course, the team will win in the end. But this is not the shareholder value approach. This is now the current approach. So when we now would like to look ahead, so we see here this wonderful lady smiling and kind of, I would call it Generation Z, as you can read here on it. This Generation Z, what is about them? So I ask you to get your mobile phone again, click on refresh, because I would like to go to the next slide here and ask you, what do you think about Generation Z? And multiple answers are possible. So what have you heard about them, or what is your own impression about them? Just share with me your thoughts. So I'm doing this here with you as well. Okay. More people are free to join. Expect too high salary, yeah. Want too many days off. Classical. So I'm waiting a few more seconds. So now we have a few answers here. Also interesting, they can't, and also they try to avoid hard work. And what I mostly heard was also they're difficult to lead and difficult to understand. So if somebody has problems to log in from the beginning slide, that's a pity, but let's go ahead. So as we were able to see, there were a couple of different answers possible. And actually, this is a common rumors that they are difficult to lead, they expect too high salaries, or they go on sabbaticals and want too many days off. So this is actually the new requirement from not only Generation Z, I would say from everybody, because simply the time has changed. So when we go now back to the presentation here. Where's my presentation coming? Here we go. Next slide. This again, to remember, this was the old structure. And how's it now? We don't have this clear top-down structure anymore. So Sue is now in relation with Julia, Bob, and Paul. So there are even more people now coming to us. And this is not this clear structure. I just have my boss. I do what my boss is telling because my boss is providing all the tasks to our team. It's not that case anymore. We are requested from companies, from our managers, just to do a job, to work simultaneously, but also autonomy is requested so that you just get your stuff done and don't ask the manager, because the manager has so many other crazy stuff to do. So therefore, just get it done anyhow. And therefore, this makes it way more complex, and it's hard to just follow, okay, should I now work with them, or where do I get the information from? So there's not this clear structure anymore. And this comes because of, we work in actually 2 more teams today than 5 years ago. And actually 75% of work will be done remotely in 2020. To be honest, this survey was done before COVID. So I would even say it's 95%, not only 75. But these are new tasks and new requirements to the management to deal with that. And of course, so far more than 5 generations are working in the same company, in the same environment, and all of them have, of course, different expectations. It's not only about Generation Z, it's also about the other guys that are working in our company. And who haven't seen me on a few other conferences so far, I'm using this slide quite often because it's making clear how people are working, what they prefer, what they also therefore expect from their management. And usually in my other presentations, I focused on here this persistent chat. So look that, oh yeah, the Generation Z, they like this chat, so we know WhatsApp and stuff like this. But these older generation, this baby boomer, they don't even know what's chat, for example. And I said, but look, contradictory to email, this is what the baby boomers like, but email, what's that for Generation Z? So this is what I so far highlighted. But when we talk about leadership and management, what our colleagues need when I, as a leader, want to make them happy and want to make them perform great, then we need to look at different things. And there we can see they're not that different, this Generation Z. So when we look at personal meetings, it's quite difficult in COVID times, that's right. But still, you can have a personal meeting virtually, online, with audio, or ideally, I personally would prefer video to see the person, to see this mimic and how he or she is feeling. But okay, there are differences in this case, but still, in general, this personal interaction, this is highly appreciated. Same with teams. We need teamwork places. We want to work together as a team and not have these islands, something here, something there. Therefore, teams, so we can see everybody wants this and not only Generation Z. And same with instant messaging. I would call this actually a chat, but just texting to somebody and hey, and just have a question, please respond back immediately. This is also something which is kind of preferred for all of these different generations. And this is so important. So as a leader, as a manager, you don't have to struggle, oh, these generations have totally different requirements and I have to be a totally different manager for them than for the other guys in my team. No. When it's around personal interaction, then so many things are really familiar and similar across these different generations. And I would like to share now with you one little video from Simon Sinek, which is very inspiring when I talk about these interactions between our colleagues.
So why is it that when somebody has performance problems at work, why is it that our instinct is to say, you're out? We do not practice empathy. What does empathy look like? Here's the lack of empathy. This is normal in our business world. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into our office and says, your numbers have been down for the 3rd quarter in a row. You have to pick up your numbers, otherwise I can't guarantee what the future will look like. How inspired do you think that person is to come to work the next day? Here's what empathy looks like. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into your office and says, your numbers are down for the 3rd quarter in a row. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. What's going on? We all have performance issues. Maybe someone's kid is sick. Maybe they're having problems in their marriage. Maybe one of their parents is dying. We don't know what's going on in their lives. And of course it will affect performance at work. Empathy is being concerned about the human being, not just their output.
Very great speech, in my opinion. Of course, there's a longer one. You can find them on YouTube. I just highlighted on the topic of empathy. because this is the interactions between the persons, and this is what everybody needs, what we just have seen on this generation slide. And this is what really makes them perform hard. So it's not about this is the number, reach it, and then everything is fine. No, sometimes there are performance issues because of different reasons. And there's something, it's called an example, which I would like to talk about in more detail, of course, in my other presentations then. But for now, there are just different techniques and different skills you can use to really ask and to find out what's going on, what's going wrong, maybe, to bring them back on track. And reading a couple of not only but also scientific researches and so on, this is what we can condense today. What your team needs from you as a manager, and not only Generation Z in general. So I start on the top. It's about clarity, to clarify and structure to road where to go, what is needed from me. Give me some hints. Is it just a number? Fine. For some, it is really important to walk towards a number. This is more a directive approach. But for some, it's more important to have a supportive approach, to be more interactive and give them the structure through this, to not give tasks, specific tasks, but maybe like, okay, you're here for this and these tasks, so this is what you're doing really great. So this is, please continue like this. So this is for them. Clarity, this is for them. Structure, I just do what I'm doing this right, that's perfect. I don't need a number for this. For others, it could be important to have a number because they feel kind of lost when they just hear, just continue what you're doing, that's fine. Yeah, but what else? What next? So therefore, just be clear here that when you clarify and when you structure the working environment for your team, there can be different needs. But of course, give feedback, provide feedback. If something is running really good, that you should really appreciate. And this brings us to the next one. Appreciation is so important. Who of you would say, oh no, I don't need a like, or somebody says that, oh, good job. No, everybody likes it to get a positive feedback. We feel simply better with that, especially when we have done something especially for this manager, for this company. And when then something is coming back like, oh, great job, and we really appreciate your work, this is the minimum that I expect. But sometimes doing an extra step, like what I mentioned at my beginning story, take a day off for that, for example, for free, a day off, of course. This is very, very good appreciation. So not just continue, no, really stop it and make clear how much you appreciate this work. Next one is also to reflect. So of course we all think that we are great managers or we are great employees as well. But sometimes look at yourself, was this really good what I did last week or yesterday or whatever? Where are really reaching all of my colleagues? Because they're still different. Doesn't matter if Generation Z or the baby boomer, each of them are different, and sometimes you really need to reflect, was this now really good for them or not? So really learn and also be honest. If you did something wrong, reflect this, say this, sorry guys, and this makes you way more empathic. This brings me to the next one. Then just being this top-down manager, everything that you are saying is a rule. Sure, in some situations you have to make a decision, but to reflect also back and be honest if something was not going well is very important in this case. And how you can be empathic is what Simon just said, for example, but also to create a respectful working environment, to really say, hey, I'm open for your feedback. Give me your feedback, how I'm as your manager, I'm performing. So, and when they're really open and honest to you, then you're in a very good way that you are very empathic when they dare to share really their honest thoughts with you. I want to skip this KFI for now. I come to this later, but I want to come to this add value for here now. Add value is actually related to everything here, because you should not be just a manager and say, okay, every week I give an update how the company is performing, and that's it. Now, an add value is like, how can I make you personally better? How can I help you with your career path? How can I help you with the tasks that you currently have? Or what's going wrong at home, what we just heard from Simon. So when you add value to provide this team feeling, for example, or you give them a holding hand, this is something what adds really value to them, to your colleagues. But of course, also this clarification, the structure, to develop the skills of each and all of your employees, for example, all this adds value, and just don't be a manager to make meetings to say what's going on in the company, and that's it. Also give autonomy. So don't do micromanagement. Even when I said for some people it's good to have a task, have a clear goal where to work towards, but not micromanagement them. So don't show up when something is going wrong. No, leave them and say, try it again. And next time you will definitely have learned from your mistakes from the first try, for example, but the next try will be way, way better. Give them this autonomy. And then this leads also to inspiration when they know, when their colleagues know, okay, they can really be free, they can be open, they can really work how they wish. And I learned a very, very nice guidance from Edita, so here our producer in this call, that, hey, I can do so much more. Why are you cutting my wings? Why do you put me in a box? So this comes through autonomy. When you really let your employees do what they love, then they are simply inspired, and they give you more, and then they're more than happy to work hard, even when you voted, or no, they try to avoid to work hard. No, when you inspire them, they're happy to do this. And happy now leads to the KFI. You all heard probably about KPI, Key Performance Indicator. So what is KFI? Key Fun Indicator. So fun is all around us. Fun makes us to be motivated to do what we are doing. So, and at home, of course, people also like to make fun. They watching a comedy or something like this. So why should people now be a totally different person when they come to work? No, when they have fun in their private life, they should also have fun in work life. And this is what keeps them happy, and be happy to do this extra mile for the company, do this extra mile for the manager. So therefore, on the employees, focusing on empathy, and therefore also bringing fun to the team is also very important, and gives a very, very great teamwork feeling. This is of course not easy, it takes time, and especially you need to reflect. You can't expect to be the greatest manager at first time. Ask your manager, hey, give me a guidance, what should I do? And my guidance to you would also be, try to copy a great manager that you had already, and I want to be like this, but also look at very bad management procedures that you maybe experienced yourself or you heard from somebody else, and make sure, no, I don't want to be like this. This can definitely help to work on these needs that are currently requested from not only Generation Z, but also from all employees in these current times. So what do we have as a tool set? In Office 365, we had, I would like to focus on a few ones. Of course, there are more. And I now bring into the side here what we have learned so far. And the blue items are from this from the generation chart. And these pink ones are just from the slide before, from this dying guy in the water. So you can see how how this comes to each other. So when we start on the upper left, Outlook and this find time add-in. This is of course for scheduling meetings, have a one-on-one blocker and stuff like this. This all relates of course here to personal meetings, virtual online meetings, instant messaging, and so on. We can find this there. And why is it important to schedule meetings and schedule meetings where everybody has time? And this is for this fine time. I had the experience that my manager just scheduled a meeting. More than 50% of the attendants had already other appointments at that time, also with customers and so on. What does it look like? That, of course, the time of my manager is more important than my time and the time of my colleagues here. This is how it looks like, for sure. So therefore, my dear managers, take this time, these few seconds or maybe even 1 or 2 minutes to look into the schedule of your colleagues and find a time which is suitable for all of them. And this is empathy, this is respect. Respect the time of your colleagues. Also, what I'm doing, what I'm recommending is having one-on-one blockers, either on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, to really have this block in the calendar that your colleagues can show up. Hey, this is currently going wrong. I need your help here, and just have this in the time so that they can really rely on if there's something. And we are totally blocked with appointments because it's super busy time, and many people are sick already, and so therefore we have overwork. But at least I have my blocker with my manager. I can rely on this, and he will have an open ear from me, he or she, to listen. What are my concerns right now? But if there are no topics, so not everybody needs this topic every second week, then what I did, for example, I just texted Pink before this meeting, hey, any topics you would like to discuss? No, all fine, okay, good. And then we can also skip because we know the next blocker is a week after or 2 weeks after, easy. And also, we still work quite often with emails, maybe, especially when we work with customers, external emails. And how should I appreciate my team and my colleagues when I have no clue what's going on, when they're working remotely? I personally don't feel that good when I have to tell to my manager, oh, look what great stuff I did here, so I'm the greatest one, and so on. I'm not feeling comfortable with this, to be honest. Maybe also many of your colleagues don't want to do this, but I encourage them, guys, when you do something great, put me on CC or even BCC when this is a mail to the customer, for example, that I'm aware what you're doing, that I see what great stuff you did. So this is so easy for your colleagues and gives them also appreciation. So really encourage them to do this so that you know what's going on. Very important for remote media, for remote workers, because in the office you anyhow get an experience for that, but when they work remotely, it's really hard, and encourage them to send what they did so far, what great stuff they prepared in an email, so that you get aware of this. Also forms, you can make quick surveys just to reflect, but also to appreciate, hey, what you would like to do, for example, what is important for you, just vote, so that not I as a manager make a top-down decision, but actually all of my colleagues want something totally different. I think they like this, but just use forms to make a very quick survey. I will show you this later as well. And this can also be kind of a fun interaction. Use Planner for meetings. This gives the structure, but also this gives autonomy. I will show you how you can manage and organize your meetings with your team just after the slide. And then last one, these teams. So in general, Teams, the platform, use channels and tabs. I show you what you can use there. You know how to use a chat and a video call. Also emojis. This comes to the appreciation, of course. Just get a like. Maybe not everybody is so super happy with getting a like, but I would say 80–90% of your colleagues at least like to see that that my manager saw my message and really likes it. Still be careful with it, but when you really like something that, oh, this is nice that he shared the recent news from Microsoft, for example, so that everybody's aware of this, just like it. And this is a very little appreciation, sure, but also only very little step for you as a manager. It doesn't take much time. So therefore, we really use these emojis to show a little appreciation. water cooler tank talk or kitchen talk or something like this. I will also show you how you can do this and why this could be important. And of course, use this praise feature. This may come also when you know from the CC that somebody did something great, that you can praise somebody in Teams, you know, but really encourage your guys to do this and share these successes, celebrate them. So this is very important. And if you wish, you can maybe also use this analytics. This is not only for you as a Teams owner important, everybody can see this analytics, but especially you as a team manager. You should have a look from time to time if everybody in the team is happy to work in teams, to collaborate, or if this is only one or two guys and the rest is actually maybe out of the team and doing something else. So therefore, this is what you can and should use there as well. And I would like to show you this now, how this can look in action. So let me jump to the demo environment. First of all, if you haven't seen Find Time, this is an Outlook plugin. And yeah, when you have added this to Outlook, then you will find here this reply with meeting Paul button here on the top right-hand side. And this is quite easy when you're emailing with customers, external parties, so they don't have access to your Teams tenant, for example, but it's a feature of Office 365. So in this case, I invited a couple of my own accounts, of course, to show how it looks like. So now you say, okay, you're working here in a team, you just have this email. I would like to invite them now to a meeting where we can all come together. How can I now find the best time for all of this? And this meeting poll, if this meeting poll has now access to the calendars from all of these guys, you can see already in green here that, for example, me and Eddie, because she's part of my tenant, we two are free in these times, so we can see already. The other guys are external guys, so I can't see, therefore it's gray. If somebody's red, then this means, okay, it's not available at that time. And this sneaky thingy is here, it only shows you your availability and not just every time, so just your availability, and therefore you can say at 9 this works, 9:30, maybe also at 10. You can make up to 10 different slots, and then you click on next. And here, for me, it's still a Skype meeting in this tenant for right now. And then the interesting thing is like, please notify me when everybody is answering, but also you can say, hey, schedule a meeting automatically when everybody has answered and we found a meeting time together. And when you then send this email, this will look like this. So everybody, participant, get now an email like this. So hey, Robert invited you to find an email. The guy clicks on it. If an external guy, he has to select, I'm this guy, and now I can say, yes, it works for me here. I prefer this time, this works also, but then there is the 365 Saturday, so no more time. I vote, and I, as the creator of this meeting, just received now this email that everybody voted, and this is how this looks like. So you can see a couple of guys voted. Oh, we have favorite here from a couple of guys for 10:30. I can just click on schedule and this will then schedule the meeting. So it's very easy, does not take really much time, but you find then the time for all of your colleagues in the team or outside when you work with external guys in a project. And the project is also a team, of course, even if you don't have authority over them in regards to management and employee relationship. But a very cool tool that you have in Office 365. Now I would like to jump to Teams itself. So I created here a team for us, and this is what I would recommend to everybody of you, that you create a team for your team. Very important to also give this team feeling, because even Generation Z, they are not lonely warriors. They want to be in a team. They want to have this interaction. So therefore, having now this team here together This is very important. On the tabs here on the top, for example, you can even add just a website to their company intranet portal, for example, with SharePoint or SharePoint pages, where all the updates got posted, for example, or you implement Yammer, for example, to have this community talks there. This is important because your team don't need to switch between different teams, and also not different between different channels and different tabs and so on. No, it's all in your team, and this also gives you kind of a team feeling. Also important, be transparent, so you can create a channel. So time off, where somebody just posting, hey, I'm on vacation next week, so just be aware. Who of you doesn't know these Outlook invitations when somebody sends an Outlook invite? I'm on vacation here, and you even can vote for this. You can even say no, for example. That's funny, isn't it? But when you click on yes, right, so that I have it in my calendar, maybe it's not the best practice. So for that, you can use this time off channel. But also, why not adding fun channel or working out loud channel or whatever? As I said, fun is important also to encourage this team feeling. And here you can just share maybe a joke or maybe work with GIFs in here. This is, by the way, also something that I convinced me from Teams, these funny GIFs and memes from my colleagues. So this was really great. So this was making me having fun working with Teams and working with the team. And therefore I also recommend to use it here as well. Also, I mentioned this Watercooler Talks, written wrong, or these kitchen talk, whatever. So especially in times of Corona, many people started to set up company-wide or at least office-wide kitchen talk meetings on a Wednesday at that time and so on. It's a nice idea, sure, but it also means, okay, at that point in time, I anyhow has to be there because the manager or the country manager or whatever boss was setting this up. So anyhow, I have to be in this meeting. Otherwise, they maybe think bad about me, but I'm not really this guy of having the social conversations and so on, because this is also important. Some wants to socialize, some others maybe good for 2 or 3 minutes, but then this does not add them value. They want to have then a meeting where they really get some value, what's going on, what I need to do or something like this. So when I have to be in a meeting, which is scheduled from a manager, not always, it could be good, but listen to their team if it's really the right way. And what could be interesting is like setting up per channel a meeting. And when you just walk into the kitchen as you would go into the office, you just join this meeting, it pops up from the other guys, for example, oh, somebody joined the kitchen. Oh, these guys already have some nice stories. It's Monday, so what have happened on the weekend, for example? I would like to join and talk with him, for example. Or maybe also another one joins. But the others who don't really want to socialize, they have other tasks to do and so on, they don't have to. So it's kind of an open water cooler talk where everybody can join, but don't have to. Furthermore, you can have this nice talks here. Oh, I don't need a big, so let's have a quick survey. So, hey guys. Back. And to this, I would like my form spot. It's easy to mention it with @ and then forms, and then where to go for lunch, Indian cuisine, Italian burgers, whatever, and so on. You just press enter, and now we have our little survey. I'm in for burgers, I submit the vote, and it updates here immediately, and also your colleagues can now vote. So it's kind of a reflection, appreciation, guys, what you would like to do, what you are hungry for. So it's not like that I as a manager say, we now go for Indian restaurant, but everybody anyhow wanted to have a pizza or something like this. So very easy, and you would say, hey, come on, Rob, this is kind of self-explaining, but be aware of this. If you know this already, good. But it's always interesting to, or it's always important to remember yourself and, hey, to push this out and really use these little tools. For example, to have this fun stuff, I created those forms survey for kind of a Christmas party or pre-Christmas get-together. So where to go as just a little team, not with the entire company, just a team. Go for bowling, go for eat something for lunch, or go to the Christmas market and have some Glühwein, mulled wine, and get drunk or something. Guess what got the most votes? Yes, it's always the alcohol, but it's kind of fun, of course, and this is what you can use. I wanted to go for bowling, to be honest, because I thought for the team it could be interesting to engage in a bowling environment, but no, they just wanted to go out, have some Glühwein, and so it was great. I used forms for that. But also, when we want to manage our meetings and want to listen to our colleagues, what's important for you? What do you want to talk for you? Then I organize this via Planner. That's a really sneaky way. So I implemented this, of course, here in the general chat and in Planner so that I don't have to switch. As I said, it's very easy. It's very implemented here in Teams. And how you can manage this. So we have the first bucket, it's new topic. The next bucket is next meeting agenda. So the only rule is when you want to talk about a topic, first think, why is this topic important for you? And why could this topic important for everybody else in this meeting? It's about adding value. If somebody just wants to socialize what he or she did on the weekend, so went for running, but 50% of the colleagues don't do any sports at all, so therefore this topic could be not that interesting for them. So let's think about this first, and it could be new hardware, for example. And this guy says, I want to talk about, I don't know, more vacation days, for example. So every colleague is now creating his own task, maybe also assign himself, so that for me as a manager, it's clear what you want to talk about. And more vacation days, when I go, for example, to this labeling, oh, this fits maybe to fun, maybe it's an administration topic. And when I want to discuss this topic next reoccurring meeting, just move it over. And then this way, your colleagues are generating the meeting agenda for you. So this kind of appreciation, we only talk about what it's important for you, what adds value for you guys, and not like any top-down management topics. And it's very easy for you as a manager to do. But sure, you should have some general tasks recurring every week or every B week, how often you have this meeting, that you as a manager should inform about organizational changes, HR updates, or something like this. If there are any, then this kind of bucket card should be always there, because this is your task as a manager to inform the team about any changes which are important. All right, so this is how you can work with these teams in this case. So last but not least, what else we had, of course, when you're talking with your guys, the likes, you know how this works here. Click on them, use this like, for example, or also you can praise. If you can't find the praise, then click on these 3 dots and then type this praise app. And here you can say, just awesome. And this is for sure Dieter, and great job organizing this conference. And then this is how it will look like. Cool, I send it. And of course, Eddie gets now a notification. I think I have it open here on her side. Yep, it's now the notification here. Robert Mulsow mentioned you, great. I got a praise. Really use this. Use this with care, so not for every single task that somebody's doing, but appreciate them A like is a little appreciation, a praise is much bigger, and when you give them extra day off, for example, it's even bigger. But you need to find your way, and also it must be aligned with the company culture, but appreciation is super, super important. All right, and the last, what you can use here when you go on Manage Team, there you have your Analytics tab, and there you can see how many users you have. Okay, this is a demo team here, of course, and not much data to show, but you can see active users. This could be interesting if you have 10 colleagues in your team, but you only have 2 active users. Maybe you don't reach them. Maybe you should reflect and change something, how you deal with your colleagues and how you want to work with them. Okay, so far the demo. Let me wrap everything up. I'm 1 minute over.
Yeah.
I appreciate your patience. Let me just summarize what we talked about while some slides are running through here. So what we learned, what is very, very important, that you as a manager, you should not work on any projects, still also, right? But your main focus is your player, your team, and you should spend time for them. It should be not just a side work, this should be your main focus. Really look at your players. Provide clarity and really kind of a structure, kind of a guidance for the career path. So this is the add value that you give, the added value which you should provide. And with this, you should create a framework of honesty, of trust, so that people come to you, your colleagues come to you and say, Rob, this was not very good, so I need to change this, how you communicate with me and so on. Thank you, and take this honest and really be thankful for this. So this is this kind of faith forward culture to really reflect and appreciate what your guys, what our team is talking to you. And this kind of reflection makes you even better and better and better as a team lead. And this makes your team in the end even better. So I thank you a lot for your time. Feel free to connect with me. Feel free to reach out if you need a more detailed workshop with your company, for example. I'm more than happy to connect with you guys. I wish you a great rest of this 365 Saturday. Big shout out to the organizers again, and big shout out to you spending this time on a Saturday with us. I had a great time spending with you, and I wish you a great rest of this conference, great rest of this Saturday. And bye-bye.